It is from the great blessing of Allah Azza wa Jal that these personalities that came to direct us to God, we don't know where they're buried. So that we are not obstructed by that shrine, that tomb, from their message, which was direct your worship to God, not me. Right or wrong? Because humans, we have a need to have, something material in front of us, right? That's why belief in the unseen is so difficult. All civilizations without prophethood have fallen into anthropomorphism, meaning we want a God that's human-like. If you go to the Africans, they made a God, their gods had their facial features, right? Their nose, their lips. You go to the Greek civilizations, you look at their sculptures, they wanted a God that looked like them, right? You want a God that's like you. It's natural. You want to connect with God, it's fitrah, but that's how shaitan deviates it, right? And so when the graves of the prophets are celebrated, that actually becomes a challenge for your tawheed. You start over exaggerating about the prophet at the expense of Allah Azza. You start speaking to the one in the grave, right? You start asking the one in the grave. That is only Allah. He is as-Sami'. He's the only one that hears. He is al-Hayy. He's the only one that's immortal, subhanahu wa ta'ala, that doesn't die. And that is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to us, do not be like the Jews and Christians who turned the graves of their prophets into shrines, into places of worship. Don't be like that, right? And that's why you say, oh Allah, do not allow my grave to become a shrine that is worshipped instead of you. Allahumma la taj'al qabri Eidan, a place that is circled back to over and over again. You know how Eid repeats? He's saying, don't make my grave Eid. Something that repeats over and over again. And I was recalling as I was seeing some of these presumed graves, the wisdom of Umar radiallahu an. It is said that when Umar radiallahu an conquered Baytul Maqdis and liberated Jerusalem, the Christians showed him the casket of Prophet Daniel. There was a prophet that was said to be Daniel. We don't know all the names, right? Perhaps this was one of them. And he said, what do you do with this casket? He said, whenever we're short on rain and the crops aren't really growing, we bring out this casket and seek blessing through the prophet. And that could be okay, by the way, with limitations. But we seek blessing through it and Allah gives us rain. So you know what Umar did? Umar went to one of the nearby rivers and he built a wall to stop the river. He built a dam. And then he dug 16 graves as decoys to confuse people. And he buried this prophet Daniel in one of those graves in the middle of the night when everyone was sleeping, covered all the graves and released the river to protect the people from dropping the message of the prophets, which is the oneness of Allah Azza wa Jal. So be careful, right?